The next type of algae are the rhodophyceae. The word rhodo stands for red color, so these are basically called in normal language as red algae. There are 5,000 species of red algae. So from this you can make out the largest diversity is found in the green algae, followed by red algae, followed by the brown algae. Now most of them are marine. Few are somehow found in the freshwater, example Batrachospermum. And then we have a range of microscopic forms to half a meter one in the length, and these plant body ranges from single celled. So please remember, chlorophyceae may have single celled or multi-celled. Rhodophyceae can have single celled or multi-celled, but brown algae or Phaeophyceae is only multicellular. For example of unicellular one is Porphyridium, filamentous one are the Stericocystis, and then there are sheets of cell, example Porphyra, and then we have the lace-like bodies in Gelidium. Their cell wall is cellulosic and contains sulfated. That means, remember, in the Phaeophyceae we have phycocolloids which do not carry sulfur, but in this case they carry sulfur. So there are sulfated mucopolysaccharides which are called as phycocolloids, sulfur containing. For example, agar, for example Karaogenin, both are given in NCERT book also, as well as porphyrin, along with other pectin substances. Now some accumulate calcium carbonates from the seawater and they deposit it over their wall, and they start appearing like coral, and that's why they are also called as coralline algae, for example Corallina. So this is an example of an algae which deposits calcium. It extracts calcium from the seawater, deposits in their cell wall, and then the cell wall slowly starts appearing or resemble the corals. They are at autotrophic and are found in the deepest. So please remember, which algae can grow deepest? So the answer would be always the red algae. It can go into the depths of the marine habitat. So this means, but when we talk about the ecosystem, the green algae at the top, then we have the brown algae, and at the depths, which one can survive? Red algae can survive at the greatest depths of the marine water, and some of them are parasitic, for example Harveyella. Photosynthetic pigments include chlorophyll A. So once again, universal pigment is present apart from chlorophyll D, carotenoids and phycobilins. Phycobilins are water-soluble pigments. Example, phycoerythrin is red in color, phycocyanin is blue in color, and the stored food is in the form of Floridian starch, which is similar to glycogen. So they have glycogen. Remember, in the first case we learned starch. In the case of Phaeophyceae we have the lipids, and we even learned about laminarin. In the case of the Rhodophyceae we have starch, which is different, which is more similar to the animal starch called as glycogen, and in that case this starch-like compound or glycogen compound is called as Floridian starch. So they store their food in the form of Floridian starch. Flagellated structures, motile structures are absent. So now we can compare one more thing. Chlorophyceae and the Phaeophyceae, they may have flagella containing structures, but in the case of Rhodophyceae, flagella is altogether absent. There is no motile structure in them. Then vegetative reproduction occurs by fragmentation. It also occurs by regeneration, and asexual reproduction occurs always by non-motile, because motile structures are absent in them. So these spores can be neutral spores, monospores, the carpospores and tetraspores. So various types of spores are there. Sexual reproduction involves spermatization, with spermatium produced in the antheridium. So spermatization is similar, which we have learned in the fungi kingdom also. Spermatia are the male sex structures. They are produced in antheridium, and then egg is produced in carpogonium, just like in the case of fungi, and with the help of a thread-like structure or hair-like structure called as trichogyne, the male structure, the spermatium, is going to enter inside so that it reaches the egg. An egg is present in the carpogonium. Carpogonium has a portion called trichogyne through which the spermatium enters inside with the help of water current. The carpogonium develops into diploid carposporophyte. So this will develop into a diploid body, and some of them involve haplodiplontic life cycle, which has a heteromorphic alteration of generation. Details will come at the end of this chapter, but is haplodiplontic, diplontic and haplontic. Now let's talk about their economic importance. There is a red algae called as the chondrus, which is also called as Irish moss. And then we have porifera, which is liver in common English. Then we have the rhodymenia, which is called as dulce. These all are edible type of red algae. And then the name I just took, that is dulce, is the sheep's weed also. It is used to feed the sheep. So it's a fodder for animals. Agar is obtained from Gelidium. Agar is obtained from Gracilaria. These are agrophytes because they give us the agar. And what is the role of agar? Agar is used to solidify the culture medium in microbial studies. So when we study microbes in pathology labs, we use a medium. That medium contains agar. It is also a thickener in preparation of jellies, puddings, creams, bakery. So in many of the confectionery things, agar is used. Then we have Karaogenin. Karaogenin is extracted from chondrus, that means the Irish moss, and is used as a clearing agent in liquors, emulsifier in chocolates, ice creams, toothpaste, etc. So this is how red algae plays an important role in confectionery, in alcohol, in many industries. And then there are some red algae which have the medicinal values also, example Corallina. It is used for worm infection. So whenever there is somebody is having worms inside the body, Corallina is used. Then agar is used as a laxative. It fastens the process of bowel movement through the intestine, so it is a laxative. Karaogenin is a blood coagulant, and in the same manner like we learned iodine in the case of the Phaeophyceae, bromine is obtained from the Rhodophyceae, for example Rhodomila. So this is how red algae is important. In the next class we will start with the bryophytes followed by Pteridophyta.